Hey there, it's time for our daily lectionary reading for Wednesday, October 20th. Today we have for you Psalm 75. Should be our last day. Let me double check. Yes, it's our last day in Psalm 75. Also in Job 41, 12 to 34. We're not quite done with Job. We're going to get away from it for a couple days, but we're going to pick up Saturday, it looks like. Will be our final day in Job. We're going to do a few verses in Job for Saturday. And then our New Testament, we're in John 13, 1 to 17. So let's just dive right into it. Psalm 75, again, is attributed to the exile, keeping them safe during exile. Biblical references to horns, by the way, at the end there's a reference to a horn. If you remember, we've read this like 3 times now. Horns are symbols of strength. So if your horns are cut off, you're made impotent. But if your horns are exalted, if your horns are prominent, you're allowed to grow. You're strong and virile. All right. Psalm 75. We give thanks to you, O God, and give thanks. Your name is near. People tell of your wondrous deeds. The set time that I appoint, I will judge with equity. When the earth totters with all its inhabitants, it is I who keep its pillars steady. I say to the boasted, do not boast, and to the wicked, do not lift up your horn. Do not lift your horn on high, or speak with an insolent neck. I like that. Not far from not from the east or from the west, and not from the wilderness comes lifting up, but it is God who executes judgment, putting down one and lifting up another. For in the hand of the Lord there's a cup, foaming wine, well mixed. He will pour a draught from it, and all the wicked of the earth shall drain it down to the dregs. I will rejoice forever. I will sing praises to the God of Jacob. All the horns of the wicked I will cut off, but the horns of the righteous shall be exalted. All right, Job 41, 12 to 34. We are still talking about Leviathan. Or Behemoth, sorry. Leviathan is the one in the water. I will not keep silence concerning its limbs, or its mighty strength, or its splendid frame. Who can strip off its outer garment? Who can penetrate its double coat of mail? Remember, this is poetry. It's poetic language. It's not to be taken literally. Who can open the doors of its face? There is terror all around its teeth. Its back is made of shields and rows, and shut up closely as with a seal. One is so near to another that no air can come between them. They are joined to one another, and they clasp each other and cannot be separated. Sneezes flash forth light, and its eyes are like the eyelids of the dawn. And from its mouth go flaming torches, sparks of fire leap out. Out of its nostrils comes smoke, as from a boiling pot and burning rushes. Breath kindles coals, and a flame comes out of its mouth. In its neck abides strength, and terror dances before it. The folds of its flesh cling together. It is firmly cast and immovable. Its heart is as hard as stone, as hard as the lower millstone. When it raises itself up, the gods are afraid. At the crashing, they are beside themselves. Though the sword reaches it, it does not avail, nor does the spear, the dart, or the javelin. It counts iron as straw and bronze as rotten wood. The arrow cannot make it flee. Sling stones for it are turned to chaff. Clubs are counted as chaff. It laughs at the rattle of javelins. Its underparts are like sharp potsherds. It spreads itself like a threshing sledge on a mire. It makes the deep boil like a pot. It makes the sea like a pot of ointment. It leaves a shining weight behind it. One would think the deep to be white-haired. On earth, it has no equal, a creature without fear. It surveys everything that is lofty. It is king over all that are proud. Okay, let's go to John 13, 1 to 17. Now, before the festival of the Passover, Jesus knew that his hour had come to depart from this world and go to the Father. Having loved his own who are in the world, he loved them to the end. The devil had already put it into the heart of Judas, son of Simon Iscariot, to betray him. And during supper, Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hand, and that he had come from God and was going to God, got up from the table and took off his outer robe and tied a towel around himself. And then he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and to wipe them with the towel that was tied around him. He came to Simon Peter, who said to him, Lord, are you going to wash my feet? And Jesus answered, you do not know now what I am doing, but later you will understand. And Peter said to him, you will never wash my feet. Jesus answered, unless I wash you, you have no share with me. Simon Peter said to him, Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head. And Jesus said to him, one who is bathed does not need to wash except for the feet, but it is entirely clean. And you are clean, though not all of you. By the way, the you there is a plural you. So it should be in text and to be, and y'all are clean, though not all of y'all. For he knew who was to betray him. For this reason, he said, not all of you are clean. After he washed their feet, he put on his robe, and he returned to the table, and he said to them, do you know what I have done to you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right, for that is what I am. So if I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash another's feet. For I have set you an example that you should do as I have done to you. Very truly, I tell you, servants are not greater than their master, nor are messengers greater than the one who sent them. If you know these things, you are blessed if you do them. Washing of the feet is a very subservient act. It's an act of service. You gotta remember, they walked around on unpaved roads in sandals. Their feet got dirty. Maybe the rest of them was fine, but their feet would be dirty. So when you had a guest come into your home, you would have a servant, if you had servants, wash their feet. Um, but if you did it yourself, that was an act of intimacy, um, as well as an act of service. Um, Now, please note, he washed Judas's feet. Even though he knew Judas would betray him, he still washed, still served him. Um, I put on the sign last week. I put love your neighbor, no exceptions. This is kind of what I'm talking about. This is an example. He could have told Judas, "No, I'm not going to watch your feet because you're going to betray me." But he didn't. He still had supper with Judas. He still washed his feet, even though he still loved him, even though he knew he was going to betray him. That's one of the hard lessons of Christianity. That's one of the hard lessons of Christ, that we are to serve, not to be served, and we are to serve and love even those who might wish us ill. We are still to serve them. We are still to love them. That's what it means to be a Christ follower. Have a good day, guys.